Okay, this is 4 weeks post-op part 2. And I stopped off when I was talking about my second time experiencing the dumping syndrome was when I had a piece of fish, and it wasn't a good thing. I hated it. And the fish, I wish I was able to eat it because it was good and everything. But I noticed that everything that used to taste so good to me before surgery doesn't taste. I mean, it still tastes good, but it doesn't taste as good as it used to. Um, so a lot of the things that I feel like I want to eat, I always tell myself, well, it's not gonna taste as good as before anyway. But I mean, before, well, I guess the pre-op diet gets you ready for that. I don't know. I didn't like the pre-op diet. I cheated. I ended up falling off the bandwagon a lot on that pre-op diet. It was something else. I did really good for about 5 days, and then went out with my friends, and boom, I went out to eat, and yeah, I was off of it that time. Um, Actually, I was kind of weak though. I felt pretty weak 'cause they took a lot of blood from me that day for the to run some tests on it and stuff. And then after that, I stayed on the diet for maybe 2 days and then cheated again. And I was like, ugh. I was like, I'm never gonna do this. And then I stayed. I was able to stay on that liquid diet for at least 3 days straight. Because I kept close contact with my surgeon, and I would tell him about my struggles with that pre-op diet. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. But apple juice saved me because I always loved apple juice, and whenever I felt weak, and I started using apple juice to help. So that worked. And I hated it going out to eat. My parents would drag me along everywhere with them. And they be sitting at the table eating and you can't have none. And oh my gosh, I hate it. I absolutely hate going places with them because they're able to eat, and eating is a big thing. And then I always feel like an oddball because I can't eat very much now and I'm just sitting at the table with them. So I don't really go, and they like fried foods and country cooking places, and I can't really have it. So, and then what I want to talk about next. I actually wrote some things down, some topics that I wanted to bring up. I'm never going to be able to fit all of this in here. Of course, the doctor, my surgeon, because I know some of the surgeons do it a little bit different, but do it differently. But uh, my 2 week after the surgery, I was actually placed on another 2 weeks of liquid, and I cheated on that just a little bit because I went to a family reunion, bad time, and I didn't want to go. My mama drugged me along with her because she didn't want me to be stuck at home in pain by myself with nobody to help me because everybody would be gone. Personally, I felt like I could have did it just fine. I knew where my pain medicine was. It would have been right beside my bed where I needed it. Because I didn't really want to go to a family reunion because I had the surgery on June the 24th. Family reunion was pretty much 2 weeks, well, almost 2 whole weeks after. It was July the 6th, and it was that weekend, so it was like a 2 3 day kind of thing. And basically I stayed in the hospital the first night because they went to a fish fry, and I didn't want to go there and be looking at all that good fish and knowing I can't eat any of it. And so I stayed back in the hotel room, and my boyfriend Skyped with me, and that helped me through a lot, to kill time. And then the next day, my mom wrote me along with her because we weren't going to be staying at the hotel anymore, so I had to go with them that day. And boy, did I hate it! I hated it. The road trip was rough. I know what was her name? I just watched your video, Geisha Sakura 22, and she was talking about traveling. Oh, just imagine traveling not even 2 whole weeks out of surgery. This was a 3.5 hour long trip, and I'm sitting in the back of the car, and 30 minutes, only 30 minutes into the trip, I bust out crying. I'm just like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here because I felt like I felt in the way, and I just felt like I was in the way and I was spoiling their family reunion trip. And not to mention, I cried because of that, and I was crying because I was in so much pain. I mean, right after you got a surgery, you don't want to sit up in a chair for too long because you have to move. You have to readjust yourself. You can't just sit in one position for a long time. And mm, I mean, my stomach was hurting so bad that it was hurting all the way through to my back. I mean, my back was hurting me too. So my stomach and my back was hurting. It just felt like, oh my God, I just felt like I was getting chopped in half because I just burst out crying. I'm not the type of person to cry all the time, but I don't know if it was an emotional thing or what, but all I know is I just bust out crying and they pulled over to the side of the road, asked me what's wrong, gave me a pillow, put me in the front seat I can lay back. And I really didn't want to go to that family reunion. I didn't feel like I should have been there because I wasn't up to it. I really did not feel like being there. And oh, I wasn't able to, the doctor hadn't given me the okay to go out and partake in any of the activities. My mama wouldn't even let me do the beanbag toss. They had like a little game going on. I didn't see anything wrong with it. The beanbags don't weigh that much, but she didn't want me, to pull anything. So I was just stuck walking around, wandering around. They didn't have very, they had drinks, and most of it was sodas and stuff like that. So I had water that my brother, he actually helped me out. He brought it for me, and I was sipping on that. And also on that trip, I also, because I wasn't able to eat anything, and I didn't bring any protein shakes because at the time I didn't have any Slim Fast, and I forgot to get it. Like me, always forgetting something. But and I didn't bring the Body Fortress because I didn't feel like have the attention of shaking things up in front of people. And people, my auntie, she actually came up to me and asked me, talking to my son, oh, I didn't know you were expecting. I'm like, nobody's expecting. Oh my gosh, it kind of made me mad, but I was just like, you know what, whatever. And because I really didn't want everybody there to know that I had surgery. I really didn't. Because, my family being how they are, they're very opinionated and you feel like, well, since you got the solution to everything, how come anyway, I'm not getting into that. There I go, I digress. Anyway, okay. And basically I did cheat a little bit. I brought some peanut butter crackers with me, and I was only able to eat maybe 2 or 3 at a time. And I love peanut butter tastes awesome. And I would just sit there and not bite a very small piece. And I would just, suck on and let my saliva do what it's got to do to break the food down first. Then chew it up really good and swallow it. And the peanut butter crackers actually helped me get through because they had the first feast. And I went up there and just got a plate and I gave my food to my brother. He left me about a fourth of a hot dog on my plate. And I had like maybe 2 pieces of Cheetos out the bag, and I just gave them away because I didn't want anything bad to happen. That I was so tempted to, eat because I was really hungry. And so I took like 2 little tiny pinches, like literally tiny pinches of hot dog. And then I began to feel kind of bad, so I didn't even do that. I just threw it away. I threw the rest of that away. I went outside and I walked just to get away from all the food. That was a tough trip for me. I really didn't want to be there with all of that because I wasn't supposed to be eating anything. I was still supposed to be on my liquid diet. Uh, anyway, my portion sizes right now. I'm only able to eat maybe a third of the done and light and fit and maybe half of a boiled egg. Oh, also, I wanted to bring up this is very important, very, very important to me. I wanted to know if any of you have been experiencing dizzy spells because today I experienced my first dizzy spells since after the surgery. I mean, I had dizzy spells before, but I knew it was because of blood pressure because I always had high blood pressure. Um, however, I was never on a pill or anything, but I just always had trouble with my blood pressure. But have any of you ever experienced dizzy spells? Tonight I was taking a shower. I felt kind of, I fell asleep today. I fell and, took a nap. And when I woke up, I was like, it was hot, and I went ahead to go take a shower because it was about time for me to go to get ready for bed anyway. So I got up and went to take a shower, and about halfway through the shower I felt like I was just about to faint. I felt like I was going to pass out in the shower. So I had to sit down and just kind of catch my breath. I'm basically in there kind of panting, but I didn't want my parents to know about it, so I didn't really call on them. But I was able to finish the shower, and by the end of the shower I felt dizzy again. And so I just kind of had to lean on some things, and then I finally got out. I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I got out the shower and tried to get dressed, which was really hard, to step in your clothes. And you're about to, you're only like a little bit of strength from falling over. But I was just wondering what the world's wrong with me. I don't think it's that I'm dehydrated. I'm taking my vitamins and, taking my calcium citrate. And I don't know what was going on. That was the weirdest moment I ever had. Basically stumbled my way to my room, and I laid down for a while to try to feel better. Um, Never felt dizzy before. Usually going to my room and laying down is what I have to do after I eat anything. After I eat, drink protein shake. If I eat or drink anything other than water, that is what I have to do because my stomach, I just feel so nauseous and I feel like I'm gonna throw it right back up. And so I have to end up going back to my room, just lying down on my bed for a few minutes until I feel okay. And I don't know what that was all about. That was the craziest thing I ever felt. I didn't like that at all. Um, so if any of you out there, if you've ever experienced that, and if you've ever gone to the doctor and found out what was wrong, please let me know because it could possibly be what's wrong with me, or if it's normal, for a patient after surgery to feel dizzy, let me know. Um, but yeah, that was weird. And then another thing I want to talk about is constipation. I've been having the hardest time trying to get myself to go potty. And it's been like this ever since I got out of surgery. And I'm going to finish up this conversation about being constipated on the next video because I'm running out of time again and I really want to talk about it. So follow me on the next video, part 3. I thought it was just going to be a part 2, but it turned out to be a part 3.